We have been waiting 5 years since the last Spider-Man series to get Spider-Man 2. Can we just put that into perspective? 5 years. Like, damn. What is going on, guys? Welcome to this video. My name is Cameron and this is the review for Spider-Man 2. Finally, after 5 years, as I've already said, it literally blows my mind that it's taken this long to actually get this comic and actually to figure out who Miles Morales of the then 616 universe, who is now in the all-new, all-different universe, but you get what I mean. Now, before we go any further, I just want to let you guys know that I'm giving away this exact issue to one of you guys. So all you have to do to enter the giveaway is like the picture on Instagram. I've posted a picture of this on Instagram. Go to my Instagram, like the picture, and follow me on Instagram. All the links are in the description. Go check it out, and yeah, I hope you guys win. So after you've entered the giveaway, I will be announcing the winner in the review for issue 2 of this series next month when issue 2 releases, I think. So guys, time to review this comic, so let's just backtrack a little bit. One of my favourite things about the very first Spider-Man series was the fact that the art style was just always on point, and it was actually the very first time that the 616 universe Peter Parker met the Ultimate Universe's Miles Morales. And the best part about that was that when Peter Parker from the 616 universe went over to the Ultimate Universe, Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe had already been killed. So for Peter Parker to go over to that universe and discover that everybody knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker kind of freaked out 616 Peter Parker a little bit. It was really, really good though. Now, of course, at the end of the very first Spider-Man series, at the very end, a cliffhanger was left. Spider-Man went back to the 616 universe, Peter Parker went home, and he actually searched up who the Miles Morales of his universe was, and it ended with him saying, "Oh my god." And that was it. Literally, they left the comic like that, and now 5 years later, they are picking this series back up to show us who Miles Morales of the 616 universe was. It has been a long wait, and I am ready to get into this review. So guys, without further ado, let's get into this review. We've all been waiting for it. Let's go. So finally opening up the comic and getting into the very first few pages of Spider-Man 2, and we're actually joining Peter Parker and Miles Morales hanging upside down above what looks like a burning plane in an airport field or something along those lines on a runway. And you can see that someone's getting away, and I love the dynamic between Peter Parker and Miles Morales, where overall, obviously, Peter Parker is the better Spider-Man in terms of the more experienced one, but Miles doesn't care about that. He will still blame Peter Parker for this, and then Peter Parker will still blame Miles for this as well, and it kind of goes back and forth. It's awesome how Miles just doesn't back down against Peter Parker. And as you can see right there, Miles actually used his new power. Well, to be honest, we haven't seen this new power in about 2 years. Like, literally, we may have had it recently, but to be honest, we haven't really seen too much of this power since the very first reveal of it, like 2 years ago, way back before the Secret Wars event even started, that destroyed the Ultimate Universe and every other universe with it. So it's nice to see that we now know that it's called the Mega Venom Blast, but it actually blows my mind a little bit that it's taken them like maybe 2 or 3 years for the writers to actually acknowledge and expand on what this power actually is. It's pretty crazy. I'm also not really too much of a fan on how Peter Parker just disregards Miles Morales as a Spider-Man. Like, Peter Parker has known that Miles has been Spider-Man for a long time now, so for Peter to still think that Miles doesn't deserve to be Spider-Man is pretty stupid and dumb of Peter Parker's character. Like, it kind of just makes me want to remind Peter Parker what he used to be like as Spider-Man before he got like this big company and all this crazy stuff. Like, literally, Peter Parker was no better of a Spider-Man than Miles was. It seems just a little bit contradictory from Peter Parker to think that Miles isn't worthy of being Spider-Man, especially when at the end of the very first Spider-Man series a couple of years ago, Peter Parker actually told Miles Morales that he's good at being Spider-Man and he deserves it. So for him to say that he doesn't deserve it now just kind of shows you how much has changed over the last couple of years. It's pretty weird. But anyway, moving on throughout the comic, I love how the comic bounces between Miles Morales' life and Peter Parker's life, because as you could see, Miles was actually late back to school from being Spider-Man, and he handed in his essay and it turned out really well, and it seems like he's doing his work from his teacher's perspective. And then of course we bounced on over to Peter Parker Spider-Man fighting the armadillo, and him just being shocked that someone actually called themselves that. So I like this bounce between the two characters. It's really cool to kind of include Peter Parker and Miles more personally in a Spider-Man comic together once again, just like the very first Spider-Man series a couple of years ago. It's very nostalgic, especially the art style as well, because as I've already said before we started this review, we have the same trio working on this Spider-Man series as the very first Spider-Man series. So we're getting a lot of familiar things such as that art style and of course the colours and just the pencils and the writing, etc. It's all really, really cool. Now going into what's happening on screen with this new girl called Barbara and Gank obviously shouting her over. And one of my favourite things about this is the fact that Gank actually knows her and Miles is just completely oblivious to it. Like, it seems like a really good thing to happen where Miles' best friend actually knows this Barbara on a full-on friend-to-friend basis, and it really gets Miles into that position of actually meeting this girl, and I actually really like it. And I'm interested to see where this goes in the future, especially because Miles hasn't really had any kind of love interest recently. Like, there's been a few girls and everything like that where you kind of hope that it goes somewhere, but it never really does. So maybe Barbara will be one of those people. But something else that I love as well is she actually questions where he sneaks off to, and it's actually an underground casino and stuff like that. But when this thing actually crashes down into the middle of Miles' school, she actually looks at Miles and watches him put his hood up, and then he's about to go off, and they both make eye contact with each other as if they both know exactly what's about to happen. And it's just awesome. It's almost like a subtle tease that Barbara will find out that Miles is Spider-Man, so I can't wait to see what happens with that. It's really interesting. And speaking of interesting, we're actually going over to a part of the comic that is extremely nostalgic. Like, I'm pretty sure I've said nostalgic like in every sentence of this review. But right here on screen, when Peter Parker and Miles Morales first meet each other swinging to this thing, it is super similar to the very first time that Miles and Peter Parker ran into each other in the first Spider-Man series all those years ago. And it's literally just crazy how much this feels like a direct continuation from that previous series 5 years ago. It blows my mind so much. And even this purple beam of light, like this purple dimension hopper or whatever they've got in front of them right now, even looks exactly the same as it did in the first Spider-Man series. Jesus, on a nostalgic level, it is so good. Anyway, now that I've stopped fanboying like crazy, let's continue reviewing this issue with Taskmaster coming through the dimension portal wherever he's coming from. It can't be good, and he's even said that he's there to kill them both. And it's craziness, man. Craziness. Oh my god. Right here on screen, we've got what looks to be an older version of Miles Morales with obviously battle scars from all his Spider-Man days maybe. But what is really interesting is that we don't actually know if this is the Miles Morales of the 616 universe that Peter Parker searched up at the end of the first Spider-Man series, or whether this is a Miles Morales from an alternate universe where his version of Taskmaster has gone to the all-new, all-different universe to fight Miles and Peter Parker. It's really confusing, but seriously guys, just what a time to be alive. Can we just take a moment of silence for the ending of that comic and basically what happened in it? Jesus, my god, it was so good. I'm so happy. It just feels like it continued directly from the previous Spider-Man series in 2012. Like, it doesn't even feel like there's been a break. It's really crazy, and I'm so glad just how familiar the characters feel and the pages and the artwork and just the overall, like the purple beam in the sky. It is exactly the same as the very first Spider-Man series, and it has been worth the wait. I absolutely loved it how there was like a new sort of girl interest in Miles' life in this comic. I think something that the Spider-Man series does really good from this one and the previous one like ages ago, they really expanded on both Peter Parker's character and Miles' character, but also affecting other characters. So we also got Gank in this comic, we also got this new girl for Miles, we also got some other characters in there with Peter Parker and everything like that. It was just really interesting to bring multiple characters into this story, and I'm interested to see who else will come through other than Taskmaster at the end just there. Like, is he the actual guy who's doing all this stuff, or is he being sent by someone else? We also got that mind-blowing thing at the end there with like what looked to be an older version of Miles Morales. Now, keep in mind, I need to lean in to say this. I think the Miles Morales that we saw at the end of the comic could be a Miles Morales from the future. It's like he has a timeline of the events that are going to happen, and that's why he was so surprised when he was like, Taskmaster already. It's like he knew he was coming, but like not really so soon sort of thing. So it's really interesting to see what's going to happen there. And Especially Miles Morales with scars on his face. Like, is he from an alternate universe? Is he from the future? This is a monthly series. Now, in the first Spider-Man comics, it had like part 1 of 5. Now, this doesn't actually have any parts. It's just issue 1. So I have no idea how long this series is going to be. But I'm going to imagine they're probably going to stick it to about 5 issues again, just like the previous one. But yeah, what an issue. I haven't had an issue like this for a comic book in Spider-Man for so long, where you get so excited and just the nostalgia feel for everything, the artwork, and obviously Brian Michael Bendis still coming over from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics from Peter Parker, then onto the Miles Morales comics, now onto the other Miles Morales comics, which are like the newer ones, and then we've got Spider-Man 2 as well. Like, Brian Michael Bendis he's the ultimate Spider-Man writer, like, so good. I really can't wait to see where this series takes us, and just the overall impact that it could have on the Miles comics and obviously the Amazing Spider-Man comics with Peter Parker. I'm not really a fan of how Peter Parker still thinks that Miles Morales isn't worthy of being Spider-Man, specifically because in the first Spider-Man series, Peter actually gave Miles his blessing and said that he's worthy of being Spider-Man. So it's like, come on, Peter, like, he's eating his own words. It's really, really annoying. Yeah, we'll see where it takes us, and I'm actually really looking forward to what comes next in the future issues. But guys, let me know what you thought in the comment section below. I so want to hear what you guys thought about this comic, and of course, don't forget about the giveaway for this issue. One of you guys can actually have this issue in your hands. You know exactly how to enter it, so go ahead and do that. Now guys, on my previous Ultimate Spider-Man review, I did say that we should hit 200 likes, and you guys got there pretty fast. So since this is Spider-Man 2 and we've been aiming for this comic for absolutely ages and waiting for it, I'm going to kind of set the bar a little bit higher and say 400 likes. If you guys can get 400 likes on this video, then, well, high five. But in all seriousness, yeah, 400 likes, and just let me know what you thought of the comic. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love the Spider-Man series, and just the build up to it just makes it so much better that it's finally here. So 10 out of 10 for this comic. It is pure awesomeness. Can't wait to see where it goes. And guys, for more videos like this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time in the next issue review. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.